Hello, welcome back. We're going to continue on with the C4 transmission here. Last time I left you, the C4 transmission pump, we rebuilt that, and it's all set and greased up and ready to put in the transmission. But we can't put this in the transmission until we get some of the internal components taken apart, rebuilt, and parts replaced. So let's get into that right now. Okay, so what we're going to get into here is the inner components of the transmission. A couple videos ago, we got the rear portion of the transmission rebuilt and already put back into place. So now today we're going to go to the next step, which is taking apart the sun gear, getting it cleaned up, and getting it back in place. So on the transmission, on my other workbench, the thrust washer goes in to the back of the transmission part, and the sun gear, which is right here, goes against that. So we're going to put this down on the on my workbench here. And again, I'm using assembly glue, and this is what you use to put the components together so you're not putting it together dry. It's a petroleum based, and does quite well. So this thrust washer gets lubricated with some assembly glue, but we will do that. I won't grease this up until I get ready to put it inside the transmission itself. So moving right along, I've got the sun gear upside down. This is the front of the sun gear. This is the back of the sun gear. Thrust washer will be on the transmission part, and then this goes in like that. So that's why I'm building it upside down. So this looks pretty good. There's a ring right in here. If you need to take this out, you can take it out. There's a ring, there's a clip ring that goes in there, and there's a clip ring that goes on the inside also. But we won't be removing this today. The bushing in there looks very good. I'm not too concerned about the bushing inside here at all. But if you were to replace the bushing, you've got two of them in here. You can see this is the inside bushing right here, the copper looking thing, and then right here as well. Since this clip is in place here, this is a thrust washer here. That's the clip is holding in. We're not going to take that out, and we're not going to remove that. So we're going to put this right inside the thrust washer here, because that's how it goes inside the transmission. I'm going to go ahead and inspect the inside here, get it cleaned out, dried out, just so I can have a look inside, see how it looks, and everything looks fine in here. So next you have your planetary gear, and on this gear here, you want to feel the roller bearings, make sure they all move nice, and there's no hiccups, there's no gum ups or anything else. If you have a bearing that's bad, or this thrust washer that just floats in there for right now, if you need to replace that, you're just better off to get the whole inner planetary gear, which these are about $317 at Jegs. Mine are good, so I'm going to go ahead and reuse this planetary gear right here is what I'm going to do. So you can hear the thrust washer in there, and that's okay. Once the shaft goes through there and all the parts to go through there, it'll hold that in place and you'll be just fine. So I am going to put a little assembly glue on the inside here, just to make sure it's all gooped up in there. Kind of out with the old, in with the new, you know, and grease is no exception. So, and this is the bottom side. This is the back side of the transmission. This is the front side of the transmission. So we'll just slide that right into here. And see, it spins quite well, so I'm not too worried about that. Next we have a thrust washer. These look pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and put some assembly glue on this, and this thrust washer goes in these 3 tabs right in here. There's a tab, and they fit in these little holes right there. So we'll just put a little assembly glue on this, get it grouped up. Yeah, I was quite surprised when I took this transmission apart and how good of a shape it was in, considering everything else that was going wrong with that I found. I don't know how it shifted. I never ran the car. I never experienced it. So, but everything seems to be in order in here. So, all right, let's get this into place. And that's all she wrote on that. Okay, next we have the outer gear. This goes on top of the planetary gear, like so. You want to check the bushing and make sure everything is fine. And as you can see here, the bushing inside here is really good. I'm not going to replace that. I'm not going to need to do anything to that, to be honest with you. So yeah, we'll just put this right inside. This is the back side of the transmission, sun gear, and this is the front side. So that just slides right on top of the planet gear. Yeah, might have to find a notch or two for it to slide right in. Okay. And that's how that goes. So now this is all set to go into the transmission right now. And I think what I might do, so I don't lose this, is I'll put some assembly glue on this right now to help hold it into place where it goes. I'm going to hold this in place, flip it over, set that right on top of that thruster washer there. And we'll center that once we get it into the inside of the transmission. And this is your sun gear. And this sun gear is all set to go. Okay, so now we got the rear drum that we're going to take apart. These are your clutches and steels. And how to do this, there is a ring right in here that holds all this in. So once you get that ring up, it's just a matter of working it around to get that ring out. And you want to save this. So we're going to reuse this when we reassemble the drum. So now should be able to take everything out. And the first thing you take out is the first steel. This is reusable. Okay. So just pull that out like so. So this is the steel that we're going to use, and it goes right on top of there. We'll just put it out in order that it came out in, and then you've got your clutches and your steels right here. So we'll just pull these out. So here is a clutch, then you have a steel, and another clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, and then the bottom ring. Okay, so we'll put this bottom ring on top of the top ring, and that still looks good. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 clutches here, and we got 5 steels, which we're gonna replace these. In my master build kit that I got, I have new steels right here, and I've got the new clutches that go in there. You're gonna have 9, I do believe, because this back drum has 5 clutches, 5 steels, and also so we'll just figure out which one it is. We'll open that up when we're ready, and we got the new parts right here. So I got the master build kit, so it came with everything that I need to rebuild this transmission. Okay, so next what I've got to do, there is a clip, a ring in here, just like on the top side here, and that ring is going to come out exactly the same way as the top one did. So just get your screwdriver in there, a flathead screwdriver in there on the side, and just work it out. Trying to get the ring to ride up here. So we can pull it out. There we go. You just come around and work it out. There's that. So that's the inner ring. We're gonna put this on top of here. And then there's a little diaphragm in here that needs to come out. Just like so. Check this out, see what kind of condition it's in. Like that. So we're going to put everything out of here right side up, over to the left, upside down, in the order that it goes. Okay, so this piece in here needs to come out, so we're going to hammer that out real quick and go from there. There, it's loose. All right. Okay, that's out. So inside here in my rebuild kit, it's important to pay attention to this. There is a square ring that goes in here, and so I got to replace this ring, find it in there, and put it in here. And also there's a ring that goes around this, and it's round. It's rounded edges. And this is easier said than done to get out. Finally. Well, I broke it, but that's okay. I've got a new one. This is a round one, and it goes right there. And then this one is a square seal as well. And if they're hard, they need to be replaced. That one was hard, so see what we get with this one here. Alright, so there's this one. It's not real pliable, but it needs to be replaced along with this one. Alright, so here we are. We got the O-rings out. I got my transmission reassembly pack with all the gaskets and seals and stuff I need for the overhaul kit. So here's the new O-ring that goes on the outer piston, and then this is the old one. It's not as pliable. I just checked the two against the other. They're the same width and the same thickness, and we should be good on that. So, and here's the inner O-ring. It's round, and this is the old one I broke. So as you see on this one's a little smaller, but it's round. So that goes on the inside of the transmission. They do give you some rings that are this size that are square. We don't want to use that. So use that one, and then this one here, as you can see, is a square ring, and it fits inside this groove right here. So what I'm going to do now, we're at the point where I can start reassembling this. I'm going to fold that in half and put it inside my transmission oil here. I'm going to soak these. Got a little transmission fluid here. Just going to soak that in there. And I'm also going to put the round one in there as well, get that soaking. And the other thing I want to do is I want to clean this off, get all the old stuff out. I guess it really doesn't matter. I just like to keep everything clean. And I'm going to pack this with, not pack it, but put some assembly glue on the inside of it here. Just so I know that it's got good lubrication. So I'll make sure it's all lubed up. Okay, so that's ready. I'm also going to put some on the inside here where that O-ring goes. Make sure there's enough grease and the goo in there. So I'll put these old O-rings. And again, when you're looking at these O-rings, if they're hard and not pliable at all, they need to be replaced. Same way with this. If I didn't break it, it still would not have been usable. So we'll put this in the discard pile over here. And I'm going to start with the inner ring. Going in should be a lot easier than what it did to come out. Just slide that over and roll it down into the groove that's supposed to go in. There it is. Just right there. And do the same thing with this big gasket ring here. Get this tucked inside right here. You want to make sure this gasket goes on the inside of the groove. You don't want to miss anything. It's pliable, so you can stretch it out to get it where it needs to go, but don't overstretch it. You could break it. And just make sure it's seated in there and lying flat. that. I'm going to grab a little more assembly glue and go on the outside of this. Alright. So I got the ring inside there. The round O-ring is on the inside. The square O-ring goes on the outside. And remember, when you're putting this back together, this is the top side. There's a rivet there and not here. So that goes right up in here. I bought this press on Amazon, I think for about $60, I think is what I spent for that. So that's going to press that right down where it needs to go. It'll be even when it goes in. There it is. Okay. It's right where it needs to be. So next, I'll move this out of the way. Next, this diaphragm this metal locking ring goes in. And let me clean that off. We're gonna make sure everything is clean, no debris, no dust, no anything, no contaminants of whatsoever. You don't want. Last thing you want to do is do all this work and have a speck of whatever floating around in there. This is a metal ring. Got a break in it. It just sets in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some assembly glue on this so it stays in place. Okay, that metal ring is in there now. I've got it pressed in there. Next, this diaphragm. And that just rests in here. Like so. Okay. Now after that is the inner bottom clip. And that just presses right in place. I think what might make it easier is for me to use my press again to get that snapped into place. That's a snap ring. I'm not getting it to snap. There, we got it. Okay. Move to the side. So what I ended up doing was I put these rods on the inside on the plate, and I used a screwdriver to push the plate, the snap ring into place. Because you see in here, the snap ring has to go into a groove like this one, like this groove here. It goes into a groove and it snaps in place, hence the name snap ring. So as you can see there, it's snapped into place all the way around. And now I can take this off. Alright, so we got the beveled edge there that goes against the snap ring. We put that in there first. That's where your clutches and steels are going to rest on. And that's notched, so it'll fall right into place. So next you take all these clutches, put them in a little transmission oil, get them all nice and soaked and wet. Because what we're going to do, we're going to make sure these get really saturated with transmission oil. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first clutch. I'm just going to lay in there on top. And then I'm going to take my first steel. Might as well get it a little wet too. It wouldn't hurt nothing for sure. And there's the open edge right there. I'm going to put that at my 12 o'clock position. Okay. And then I'm going to get another clutch. Put that into place. Get another steel. And then here's that other notch. I'll put that at the 9 o'clock position. Drop that on top. Get another clutch. Put that in there. Get another steel. Okay, and then your snap ring goes into place. And that's it. Your reverse drum with clutches, new clutches and new steels is in place. We got the front drum clutch pack to do yet. This is the part that the band rides on in the transmission. This is the front, this is the back, and this part has a compressed spring in there. So I've got to use my clamp again, push this down, and get the retaining clip out. And it all should come out. So let's go ahead and get that done real quick. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I got this spring clamp pressed on against the spring here. And got pressed this down squeezing this down so I can let this this clamp in here out. I've got this pushed down pretty far, and this is where the clamp is. I gotta get that out. Okay. Alright. So I got the clamp out. So this spring fits down into this groove. There's a notch right there. That's hard to get in there with your tool to get it out, but that's where that goes. So all this can come out now. You want to be careful with this because that's under pressure with that spring, and you just want to make sure you've got this device that I have here to let this out. See, here it comes out now. And you could see right in here is where that spring clamp went. And as I let this out, you can see how much pressure that spring holds back. We're just slowly letting the pressure off the spring right now, so we can take this all apart. Okay, that's it. And there it is. That's, you got that the plate that that rides against the spring. Then there's the spring itself. So what I did is I just put this all together. There, the clamp, the seat, and the spring itself. Now these are my clutches and steels. Now at this point, it's like the other one. You've got a clip in there. You got to take this clip out, and then the steel comes out, and all the clutches and the steels come out as well. So let me take that retaining clip out. Okay, there's that top retaining clip. And then we got the top steel. This is reusable, so we'll use that. I try to keep close to what I'm doing. I try to keep the top on the top and the insides on the inside. So if it's right side up in here, I'll take it out of here and flip it upside down. And then I've got my clutches and steels all in here. They look pretty good. I mean, they're not smoked, they're not burnt or anything, but we're going to go ahead and replace them anyway. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 clutches, 4 steels. Okay, so this is a simple method of getting this knocked out on the inside here. So let me knock this on the ground. There it is. You just knock this upside down. That comes right out. One thing I do want to point out to you here in a bit, and when you pull this out, this just like the other one, there's a seal right there that needs to be replaced. And on the inside of these, when Ford builds these transmissions, there's a little spot right there for a check ball that they do. They push that in, and the ball is still in there. You gotta listen for it. It's in there. Make sure that doesn't come out and that that's still in there. If you can look in there, you can see it. So we're good on that. So now there's a seal. There's an O-ring in here as well, I believe. Really can't see. It's more of a feel. Let's try to get this inner ring out. And there it is. I got it. And this one looks like a square. Okay, I'm wrong on this one. This one is a square ring also. Okay. What I mean by a square ring is right here. It's flat and it's squared off on the edges here. So that's a square ring. It fits in the bevel inside there. And then the outer ring is the same way. It's a square ring also. It's flat, fits inside the groove right along here. So, all right, we'll get that rebuilt real quick. So, like the other ones, we're gonna soak these in some transmission fluid here I've got. While those are soaking, I'm going to go ahead and open up my clutches and my seals. And again, you just want to make sure you got 4 of them. You took out 4 of them. Take one, compare it to the other. Make sure you got the right one. And these are a little bit thicker, you could see, which probably a good thing because of the wear. You see on here, look at the edge view, and then you look at this one, the new one, a little bit thicker, not much. So we're going to go ahead and soak all these in some transmission oil also. While my hands are wet with transmission fluid, go ahead and take the little seal out here. Actually, let me back up a minute. Put some of this assembly glue on the inside of that tab there. Just make sure it's really greased up. You want to make sure you don't roll this because it is square. You know, the beveled edges, I mean. Just want to make sure it goes on evenly and you get it all the way down to that bottom groove. Again, they don't give you much room to work in here. Here's the seal that goes along there. So I'm just going to push that down all the way around until it falls into that groove, making sure you don't roll it. Load this up with some assembly glue right on the inside track there. Spread it around. And I'll pop this right into the groove there. Hold on to it with one thumb as you work your way around and stretch it on inside that groove. So it goes in. And put a little more glue on it. Side where it should go. That's gonna do its thing, whatever it needs to do there. So now we're ready to put the steels and clutches in. So let me open up my other package of steels. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like the old ones. So take one of these, check the dimensions on it, check the thickness. Same. Okay, those are good. We're gonna discard these old ones. And here's my transmission bath. Alright, so now first off we do is we take one steel and put on the bottom here. And again, this is the same way as the other one. You find your notch, your gap, and I like to start with that at the 12 o'clock position. So we'll put that in right there. We'll get a clutch. And just like the last one, it goes clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel. Get another steel, find the notch, which is right there. Put that the 9 o'clock position. Get a clutch. Put that in. Get a steel. I'll make sure these are dripping with fluid when I put them back in the drum. Find your notch, which is right there. Put that to 6 o'clock position towards you. And then you do a clutch. Drop that in. And then you do your last steel. And again, that's like a broken record. Find your notch right there. Put that to 3 o'clock position. And top it off with another clutch. So now we're ready for the main top steel to go on. So you'll just take that, clean it up, look at it, inspect it. It's not smoked, it's not scratched, it's not marred in any way. So that should be good by putting the shiny side down. Incidentally, I did not mention to you, if you're replacing this and you're rebuilding this, and one of your top steels that you put on, say the inside was a little smoked, you could flip this top one over either direction. But me, there's nothing wrong with this. This is the shiny side, so this is the side that goes into the top of the clutch. There's no groove there to find to orientate your mark, so I just take a little bit of clean transmission oil and I'll just put on the top of there. Okay. And then just drop it in. Now we're ready for our spring clip to go in. Let's see. This is the top. This is all your clutch steel, clutch steel, clutch steel, your top steel, and then your spring clip is ready to go in right there. So let me get that worked in. Right, next I'm ready to put the spring back in. Goes in like so on the bottom. Then the top retaining plate. Now we gotta press this whole thing down and put this clip back in. So remember on the back part of this, We got the new reverse band in here, got the struts in place, got the servo put in, got the servo adjusting bolt right here, and you got a planetary gear right here, and this is your back reverse drum. Underneath here you got your parking mechanism right through here, and I got it on a kind of a crude thing. I don't have a vise to hold this in, so I'm using a 5-gallon bucket with some wood to hold it upright, because all these parts need to drop into place, and certain parts you need to listen very close to know it's bottomed out. So open my assembly goo, and again, this is the sun gear. This goes in next. Inside here is another planetary gear. This is next. This is the middle clutch pack. It's already been rebuilt, and this goes on last. And this is the pump that we rebuilt in another video, and this nylon thrust washer goes against the front assembly. So alright, let's get this going. Let's get it put back together. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this thrust washer off the back side here. Okay, so get some assembly glue going. So this thrust washer sits right on top of here. You got 3 tabs on the inside of this, and it fits in the tabs on the inside here. So put a little assembly glue on this. This is the thrust washer between the sun gear and the reverse drum that we rebuilt in a few videos ago. Right, and there that is. Next, we're going to put the sun gear in place. That has a reverse, that's got a planetary gear in it. I'm going to drop this right into place. Okay. Alright, so next we put the interplanetary gear in, which is this guy right here. And it should all slide in together. Yeah, this is the interplanetary gear right here. And that's all ready to go. And then we'll slide this shell right on top of the planetary gear. Takes a little work to get it in. Okay, there it is. So we got the sun gear, and inside there we got the planetary gear, the outer shell. And so this is what connects the back drum to the next drum we're going to be putting in here. So and that is going to be the first clutch pack right here. You gotta get this to drop in, and it may take a minute because of all the gears and teeth in there. But once it's there, you want to slightly lift it. There it is. And you hear that? It's a solid thud. That's how you know you're bottomed out. You're all the way in there. Okay? Sorry about the video angle. It's kind of crude. So next is the last pack, drum pack. It's this right here. Remember, this is the one with the spring in it. We had to compress that. And these notches fit right in the side here of those notches. Let me show you from the side here. That notch I showed you should fit right in these. You just got to get worked into place. So let me do that real quick. And again, it's just a matter of getting the gears to fall into place. There it is. Okay, I'm going to inspect that all the way around. Turn it. So now at this point, I'm going to take my input shaft right here. And how you know the rear of the input shaft to the front, the back of the input shaft that goes into the transmission has shorter grooves, and the front has longer grooves. So when I took it out, I made sure to put a sticker on there and write on there the rear. You don't want to screw this up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the input shaft and put in through here and get everything lined up the best I can. See, I can turn that inner drum. Everything seems to be okay. Alright, so I'll take the input shaft out now. I'll just set that off to the side. Okay, so now with all this put together here, I'm going to be working on the servo here. And on the servo, this is a piston that goes in the housing unit like so. It goes in there like that. Your strut goes in that notch right there, and it holds that band in place. So right now, I'm put into these grooves here, just to make sure it all seats into place. When you put these are both square rings, so when you put them in, make sure you don't roll them, they don't twist. Fluid. By the way, when I dip this stuff in transmission fluid, I use brand new, and I'm going to be dumping it out when I'm done using it. I don't want to put that back in the transmission, so be sure you use new transmission oil when you soak this stuff. Okay, so there's that one. And again, when this assembly goo gets hot to temperature, it melts and turns into transmission oil. So put the top one in, let it sit in the transmission oil for a while. A few minutes, that's all you need. And just slide that into place, being careful not to roll it, and then just smooth everything out when you're done. Alright, so that's ready to go back in where the servo, this is the servo piston. Next you have the ring, and it'll go right in here like so. And then your strut fits right into there. So I'm going to slide this into place. So here we are there, that's the servo piston. Goes inside, it's got the spring behind it. And it comes out right over here in this hole right here. And I don't know if you can see that. And it goes, there's a strut that goes right against this, and your adjusting bolt comes in over here. And this will all be clamped together when it's all said and done. Thing I forgot to do real quick is I want to make sure the inside of this is bathed in transmission fluid. You don't want this to be dry. So now I can put the ring and the servo back in place here. And this only goes on one way. You got a hole there and a flat spot. Same as right here like so. And this gasket is going to direct fluid. Alright, I got that all pressed in there evenly all the way around. So this notch and that bolt hole goes right here. So put a little more fluid in there on top. Take the spring out, put right in there. And then this will be ready to go in just like so. I've got it finger tight. When you bolt this down, you want that seal to get in there evenly. So you're just gonna do this one first. You want to make sure that this is square so your strut can fit inside. You can turn that with a little screwdriver, and this fits right in there like so, and it goes into a notch on the band just like that. Now to put a little tension on this, use your adjusting bolt. Yeah, that should be good right there. We got the adjusting bolt strut right here, and we got the front servo piston strut right here against the band. There's a little tension on it, and this is a builder's plate that Ford put on there. I went ahead and put it back on. That's where it was. So we're going to start with this gasket I've got laying in here. It's been soaking up, getting impregnated with all that transmission fluid. And you want to make sure you got the right alignment. You got two holes here. One's a bolt hole, one's a oil hole. And if you look on top here, how it sets, you should get it all to line up, just like so. So if you look here, these are ports for fluid to come through. All these little holes right here is a port. This is a port. You want to orientate this the same way. These bottom ports right here line up right here with these. So get your bolt holes lined up. This goes on the inside. Thrust washer has assembly goo on it. New rings in place. This is a nylon thrust washer that goes, it's got two tabs here, and I'll show you how that lines up, and I'll put the rest of this on here. That's where that thrust washer, you can see the indentation, the wear mark that was on here from before. And just for fun, so it's not completely dry inside, I'm going to coat the inside of this with all that fun grease. Alright, so on this now, you got two tabs in this nylon thrust washer. They fit one there and one over here. So you just line that on top, put it on the bottom. Assembly goo works like glue, and I got some on here. So now we're just going to line this up with the bolt holes and the ports. Normally your bell housing now would go on top of this, but I'm not ready to put the bell housing on yet. So I'm going to put these bolts. Okay, so after getting everything lined up, I'm just starting these in. I'm doing a star pattern as I put the bolts in. Again, you want that seal to go in there evenly and straight. And normally your bell housing would come on before you do this, but I still have work to do on the transmission, and I'm just taking the bolts down to the pump and I'm not tightening them down yet. So at least I have the gasket in place. And some of the bolts will bottom out, some will not. This one. And I'm not tightening it down all the way. So when I get ready to do the bell housing, all I have to do is remove the bolts. I'm not going to remove the pump. Remove the bolts, and then the bell housing will fit right on top. And these bolts that don't go down all the way, that's because the bell housing needs to be in there. So these bottom three will not bottom out, and the top did. Again, I'm not tightening everything down because eventually I need to take these bolts out again to put the bell housing on, and then the torque converter. So right now I'm going to take the input shaft and I'm going to goop it up really good. I'll put the rest inside the hole there. I'm going to put this down inside. Okay. And that's pretty much it. That's all I'm going to do today. So today, let me recap. We got the sun gear in place. We got the bottom planetary gear in place. We got the middle clutch pack in place. That has 5 clutches and 5 steels. That's our dog Jake. He's the supervisor. And then I got the top clutch plate. It's got 4 clutches and 4 steels in the drum, brand new. And then I got my forward band tension adjustment screw in there. And then I've got the servo new seals put in there and put in. And then I've got the pump that we've already rebuilt into place. And there's the front seal that you see on that. So alright, this will be the end of video number 4, and next, it's going to be a little while before I can get to it. It's going to be the valve body. That video may be a little bit long. It's going to take me probably about 3 to 4 hours to rebuild it, and I have to watch a video and look up some stuff to figure out how to do that myself. So, until next time, if you like what you saw in the video, hit like and subscribe.